Well, welcome to another Matrix Mini Masterclass. We're here at the fantastic Lindholme Lakes, and we're going to be showing you a way that a lot of people are fishing these days through winter months on these sorts of venues. We're going to be fishing with the bread feeder. Lots of people know how good bread can be in winter, but there are several different ways of fishing it, and we're going to show you an approach today that works on commercials up and down the country at this time of year when the water is clear and cold. Well, as with a lot of fishing in winter, the bait tray is really nice and simple. The water's quite clear, it's cold as well, so we're going to have a very simple approach today, and this is very typical for lots and lots of commercial fisheries up and down the country. The main bait that we're going to be putting in today is going to be liquidized crumb. Okay, so we're keeping it very simple as regards our hook baits as well. So we've got some crumb here, that's been mixed with water, it's dampened down nicely. I've gone back to it twice just to make sure that everything in there, or the majority of it, is sinking, because it does take on quite a bit of water. So that's the main feed that we're going to be feeding. For the hook, we've got two choices. One of them is the old faithful corn. Now that's just frozen corn that's been in the freezer, that's defrosted today. So that's fine, it's a real nice key hook bait alternative. Fisheries up and down the country see a lot of corn, and that can be a great winter bait. Obviously it's nice and robust, but it's very visual as well, which can be important in winter. And then the main bait that we're hoping to be catching on is the humble bread. Okay, so I've got a few slices with me today. Hopefully we're going to be using them. Just take them out of the bag one at a time, just so they don't dry out, so it keeps them fresh in the bag, because obviously on venues like this, we've got the sun out today, but we've got the wind on it, it does dry out quite quick. So just take one slice out at a time, and that is it. That is the bait tray. The way that I've set my bait tray up is very similar to how I normally fish. So I've got the bulk of my crumb over there, and I just take a small portion out into this section here, and I can add water to that if it starts to dry out. So that's like the main mix there that I'm going to be using. We're going to be introducing the feed today with a nice little cage feeder. These are the new cage feeders from Matrix. These are they're perfect for this sort of fishing, because the areas that we're going to be fishing today are quite shallow. The wire mesh on these feeders allow the water to get to the ground bait really quickly, and to the bread, so it's going to break down really quickly and empty quickly. So these are ideal. This particular version I'm going to be kicking off with is the 20-gram version. We're only casting about 18 to 20 meters today, so this is going to be ideal for this sort of fishing. And we can vary the way that we pack the liquidized bread into that feeder as the session progresses, so we can squeeze it in lightly to create more of a cloud, or we can pack it in tightly so it's going to break down much slower. But that's something that we can work through whilst we're actually fishing. So we're going to start in one spot towards the point of the island, and then I suspect we're going to have to make changes at some stages during the session to stay in touch with the fish. Well, I've had a couple of casts already, kicking off with just a bomb, and that's because I can have a good search around the swim just to look for indications of any fish being out there. I'm using a really super simple setup, one of my favourite setups. The peg is only about 20 metres wide, so I'm using the 3.3 metre excess slim rod. It's just got a 1 ounce tip in it. I'm using that. It's coupled with the Horizon 3000 reel. It's a really nice combination, this, a really nice balanced setup. I'm using mono, 6 pound Horizon mono, straight through to the rig. Really super simple. The actual rig I'm using is, like I say, it's on 6 pound Horizon line. I've got the feeder snap link there, which is free running, which complies with most fishery rules anyway, and that's just a really nice little bit of kit. It's really nice, and it's free running. Obviously it's very strong, but it just means that you can quickly change from a bomb to a feeder at any stage. I've got that stopped with just a single feeder stop, just a nice little rubber there. That just grips the line really nice and tight, but it doesn't damage the line in any way like a shot or a stock would, so that's great. And obviously I've got the option of moving that as well, because it grips the line. So if I feel I want to extend the length of the tail or the hook length, then I can do that really nice and easy. So I've just got that resting on a knot, and then I've got 8 centimeters there of a twizzled boom. That's just the main line that's just twizzled, so that creates a nice stiff boom that kicks out away from the bomb or the feeder, depending on what I'm using, and just makes it anti-tangle. And then I've just got a hook length there, which is 15 inch of O. That's 0.125, the one that I'm starting off with. Obviously I'll step that up if I start catching fish, and that's just through to a size 14 on a hair rig. I'm going to kick off with bread, but obviously I can switch to corn as well, and we'll just try and find out initially where the fish are, and then we'll try and find the suitable hook bait for what they want today. So just going to kick off with a bomb, have a search around the peg, and hopefully we're going to locate some fish. Well, we've had a really interesting start to this session. What I did was we started on a bomb, and we've just been popping it in different areas of the swim, just trying to find some indications of fish. We know they hole up at this time of year. We found a spot, we've got a couple of little indications. So I've just switched to that little cage feeder, the 20 gram version. Just one single grain of corn, and it's right to the right of the swim, just at the other side of that bush. Little bit of dead water there. The wind, it's really cold, this wind, and the wind isn't hitting it there. It's flat calm, and that might suggest that there's some fish holed up there where it's not quite, you know, it's just out of that wind. Feels a decent fish. I'm not sure what it is. There are lots of F1s in here, just like lots of other commercial fisheries, but it could be a carp, this one, but it feels a nice fish. No point in rushing fish at this time of year. Every fish is important. You just want to try and make sure you're going to land them. Yep, it is a carp. Still got a bit of fight left in him. There we go. Lovely start. Great condition. So by using the bomb, we're hoping we've found a pocket of fish. It's just by reading your tip, looking for indications. So like I say, that's only been in 2 to 3 minutes and we've got a fish. So we're hoping there's a pocket of fish there. Lovely fish, very cold, I might add. But that's what we expect at this time of year. You know, that's why they're not moving around much. The water's cold, so we're hoping there's going to be a pocket of these over there waiting for us. I was always brought up to fish really nice and tidy with a feeder as regards always hit your clip, fish on the same spot, just keep feeding in that same spot and the fish will come to you. And you know, that does work on some venues through the summer months, but what we are seeing increasingly more on these sorts of venues, that, you know, quite often the best way to go is to go looking for the fish. And that is really, you know, it's been evident today. You know, it's typical of these sorts of fisheries. Fish, as the water's cold, they're moving around less, they're not swimming as much, and so they tend to hole up in certain areas. You know, a lot of us use the term ball up, and that's what the fish do, you know. So today we've really had to go looking for the fish. That wind is getting stronger now, it's really coming into us, and it's freezing cold. Typical winter fishing. And what we often find is in summer, fish follow the wind, but in winter it can be the absolute reverse. You know, the fish will be where the wind isn't, because it's a cold wind. The water temperature in areas where the wind isn't hitting the water can be warmer, and that's where you might find the fish are going to be holed up. And that appears to be what's happened today. We spent quite a while casting to the point of this island, down the slope and to the left of it into the open water. So we've covered a variety of different depths there, but we haven't had a sign. We just haven't had even a line bite. It wasn't until we started moving to the right, behind this tree and behind the island and the tree as well, and the bushes on the island, it's holding the wind off that part of the swim, and that's where we've caught all our fish. It's been so obvious that that's been the only area where we've had some fish. So it's been very much a case of going looking for the fish, and then once you find them, it's just a case of turning those little indications into fish, and that's what we've done. We've caught a couple of fish on bread, which is, you know, it's a great bait this time of year, but the corn has been best today. Whether it's just because it's more visible, we don't know, but it's definitely been the best. the best hook bait. So it's been a really interesting session. It's been typical winter fishing, and like I say, these the approach that we've had today works on commercial fisheries all over the country. So I hope you've enjoyed this session, and please let us know below if it's an approach that you've gone out and tried yourself. So hope you've enjoyed this session. Thanks for watching, and we'll look forward to seeing you all in the next video.